half. That one's for you, Titan. You're welcome. Hey, welcome in everyone. How are we doing this weekend? I am much more alive today than yesterday. I don't know if you could tell. I think I need a little bit more light though. How are we doing? Suzanne was first today. Kimmers isn't even here. Suzanne beat Kimmers. I love it. Trekker, how are you doing? Val, welcome in. Bob had to be the one to ruin the purple names. It's okay. The girls were chilling this morning. It was awesome. It made me so happy. Titan is not late today, so we can have a little celebration. Hi, yet it is. Yeah, we made it to the weekend. I'm 12 seconds late. Whatever. That's fine. We'll survive, right? Okay, we're gonna do some good cooking today. It shouldn't be too difficult of a cook. We made our dessert yesterday on stream, so we're not gonna be doing that today. So yeah, pretty easy one actually for a Saturday. I'm okay with it though. Late is late. This is true. I always go by the designation that if you're actually on time, you are late. So like I'm always that person that will show up to work like 15 minutes early. It's just a thing, right? You never know what could happen on the way to work. I hate being late. You would love a plate of this food today. I'm so excited to cook what we're cooking. Some more mystery meat that we get to try, let's say. Hi, Scooter. How are you doing? I took it out of the fridge like 30 minutes ago so it can kind of temp up. But this is a piece of venison. I don't know like what part of the deer it came from. It just says roast, but it was from a white-tailed deer that my friend Robin got last year in November. Doot. So that's a nice chunk. Look at how good it looks. So I was thinking that we might actually just like cut it in half so we have more surface area to sear and it might cook a little bit quicker. But the thing with venison, like, a lot of people think it's like tough, right? All the venison meat is tough, but that's not actually always the case. So a lot of times when we are braising meats, for them to like be able to kind of fall apart, like this is how I'm thinking about this dish is gonna be put together, is we'll put the mashed potatoes on the plate, and then the venison should be like falling apart and have like a really nice like gravy or some kind of sauce with it. And so then you put the piece of meat over the mashed potatoes with the glazed carrots, and then you drizzle some sauce over it, and it's just gonna be like the most unctuous dish ever. So hopefully it turns out like that. One thing we do know with venison is it is very lean, so that's why I thought it would be nicer to braise this dish today rather than roast it at a high and dry heat, right? Because then you're just gonna keep drying it out more if you do that. Scoots, you're dealing with cold and snow. It has been like really windy this morning. Like I'm chilled to the touch. It's chilly in the house, but it feels nice. But yeah, the wind is definitely, it's blowing in a snowstorm that we're supposed to get tomorrow night, which I think is actually just coming down from Samo right now. He's getting like an inch of snow in 45 minutes up at work right now. It's nuts, he said. So site's probably gonna get shut down. And then Sam was also saying that he might be home on Tuesday if things don't get better with the fuel situation. And that's okay because he'll be paid. So I'm okay with that. He gets to come home and get paid. If only we could all live that life. That's okay, Suzanne. Yeah, it was really warm earlier. I'm sure the snow that does fall tomorrow is not gonna stick around anyways. The weather is so crazy, Scooter, honestly. Like the freeze and thaw, we can't keep up. Our bodies can't keep up. I feel actually really bad for all the animals outside, like all of nature. I'm sure they're way more confused than all of us are. Okay, so Scoots posted the menu and recipe for us, and I kind of just went over what we're going to be making. So we'll start with the venison roast. We will get it spiced up, seared up, and then we will get it braising. I think I think we'll pop it in the braising pot or pan, but we'll do it in the oven because I always find you get just a more consistent result if you braise in the oven rather than trying to control the temperature on your stovetop. Especially if you're cooking, I find other things on the stovetop is you're going to get like less energy to all of your burners if they're all on, right? Hi, Kelly. I'm doing good. How are you doing today? Welcome in. We're just getting started going over things. But yeah, I'm feeling so much better than yesterday. Yesterday it was just like a low energy day. It was foggy and gray outside. Didn't want to do anything, right? But I was in bed at 9 last night. I'm not even gonna lie. It feels so good though. And yeah, I'm rolling on no coffee right now, but the roommate accidentally got 2 iced Vietnamese coffees, he said. So there's one in the fridge for me, but I was really trying to not drink coffee. So when I said to him, because he's like, if I drink 2 iced Vietnamese coffees, I don't know if you guys ever drink these, but they are so strong. They're so strong. So if you ever try to drink 2, you could honestly almost die. Like caffeine overdose. So I said, okay, I'll drink it now. I just have to make sure I do like a workout later after stream to burn off all the caffeine so I could actually sleep later. That's the only thing I find that works for me. Because otherwise, if I have caffeine and I just like go about my day but don't like exercise really hard and like exert a lot of energy, I'm just rolling off the walls still. There's no sleep to be had. Yeah, death by coffee, right? We've all kind of pushed it to that point and it's like, oh, there's the limit. There it is. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Thank you very much. Yeah, Samo usually is passed out at 7:30 at night, you guys. I feel like that's such like a farmer kind of schedule though, right? That's such a farmer schedule, is you go to bed early and you're up early to get your chores going. Wait, you made turtle cakes last night? I kept asking on stream yesterday after your raid because I knew that you were cleaning up, Kelly. I was like, what cakes did she make? And no one was telling me. I was like, I need to know. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I love that movie. And then when I was young, this is a cute story. So my brother really loved Ninja Turtles too, but he's 5 years older than me. So I was definitely like the Barbie girl. I totally stole his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pizza little toys for my Barbies. It happened. Hi, Blood Oak, how are you doing? It just was the perfect size. I don't know. So maybe that's where my obsession with pizza started, I think, honestly. Okay, cheers, guys. Let's have a good stream. Oh, that's tasty. That's gonna be good. Your brothers had G.I. Joes and you had Barbies. And yeah, they all kind of like played together still, right? That was the cool part of it. Love it. Okay, let's clear off the board. I guess we'll write down a couple things on the prep list, but there's really only 3 components to this dish today. We are making some of my favorite carrots, though, I will say that. Maple glazed carrots with a little bit of dill on there. So yum. That's so smart, Scooter. I also have a friend that is a videographer, so she's like editing all the time on the computer, right? So yeah, she picked up a walking pad for herself. And most days, I think she said she's doing like almost, what did she say to me? Like 10, at least easily 10,000 steps just by like walking, doing a couple hours of work. That's so helpful, right? Tomorrow at 9 a.m. Oh yeah, your work trip that you're dreading, Blood Oak? Oh no. You're so not in the mood to be away. Because you just got back, right? You literally just got back home from America and you're going back. You've only had it for a few weeks and you actually use it more than you thought you would. Is it loud? Because that's like the thing with treadmills usually, right? Is they're so loud to use when there's other people in the house doing stuff. But I'm assuming this little walking pad thing is like really nice and quiet. Right? It would be kind of hard. She said, yeah, my friend in the States keeps it at like a very low pace that she's walking so that you can still like focus on what you're doing at your desk. A 9-hour flight and a 3.5-hour drive. That is rough. I hate travel days like that. Especially if they don't go according to plan. I don't want to scare you though. I mean, you know how it is. You've traveled enough. You got this though, Oak Oak. Right? Life's about doing the hard things. And then you'll be like, yeah, I did it. And it wasn't actually that bad. What if it ends up being an amazing experience? Right? Maybe we shouldn't always go into things with a bad outlook at first. But it really does, right? I find that, Kelly's traveling does take a lot of energy. That's so cute, Oak Oak. I love it. Okay, so our venison, this is what we're gonna do. I'm going to cut that piece in half. Just because I feel like when we go to like kind of pull it apart later, we'll get nicer texture on the meat. Rather than having like really long strands. I hate when you're like pulling apart meat that you've cooked for a long time and the strands are super long. Keep them nice and short. It's easier to eat that way. Okay, cut the venison. We'll season it up. We will sear it in the same pan that we're gonna braise it in. And then for the braise, so the recipe I linked has red wine, but I'm not really working right now, so I don't have a ton of money to spend on like extra things for stream. I do have a bit of white wine if we just wanted to use it up, but my plan was just to use some really nice broth that I made instead. Because you don't need wine to braise stuff. It just adds that little extra unctuous part of it that obviously is delicious if you can afford it. You're dealing with that too, Trekkert? She wants you to fly to the beach on spring break and your anxiety will not let you get on the plane. She told you, what if it's a great experience? What if you enjoy flying? I will tell you, like, oh my gosh, when I had to go to the last TwitchCon by myself, usually I'm like such a good traveler by myself, right? Like I've backpacked in Asia, I've backpacked in Europe, and I was fine. But ever since COVID, like traveling by myself, I am not the same. I'm like an anxious wreck, so I have to always take Gravol. And what did I take in the States? I had to get like Dramamine from the drugstore because I almost couldn't get on the plane to get back home. It was that bad the day I was leaving. So yeah, just know that you guys aren't alone, but it's not something that is like a forever thing. Yeah, we didn't have the Sam safety blanket, exactly. And we're also gonna put some herbs in with the venison when we braise it. And probably like some onion and garlic and make it taste really delicious. Maybe some bay leaf. And we'll let that go. I'm gonna say it'll probably take around 2 hours to 2.5 hours. Let's see though, we'll check it every hour. And then while the venison is braising, I always like to work on the side dishes. Dramamine makes you so sleepy. It doesn't really make me sleepy. It totally just like helped calm my nerves because I'd be like so nervous. I'd be like clammy and sweaty and I would, yeah, it's just terrible when that happens to me. And that is the only thing that can calm me down. Because like I don't take any prescriptions or anything like that. But I've always wondered, it's like, do I need a prescription just to travel now? Like, am I this person? Turbulence is the starting of a roller coaster. That's what I always tell myself too. Aw. Well, I hope that it works out, yet it is. Okay, our potatoes. Some of my favorite mashed potatoes, honestly. Just butter, sour cream, green onions in them, salt and pepper. So, so good. And then our carrots. So to dress the carrots, we do oil, some maple syrup, salt, and pep, and a little bit of dill. That's it. And then you can roast them. I think we'll roast them today. They're the best. Like, out of any carrots I've ever made, these are the carrots that everyone seriously, like, freaks out over. It's just carrots. A pretty big dill. Thank you very much for that. We have a regular here, one of my mods, that often says, like, a ton of dad jokes, and we love them. So I'm gonna do that. We've had 357 bad jokes in chat over the years. That's quite a bit. Okay, cutting board time. Time to get cooking. Excuse, like, the juices in the bag, but we can't really help that. We're eating meat. Yes, there is blood. Just gonna go grab my boning knife. It's chilly in here. I need to get cooking. Heat up the house. Hello, Lucky Shokrat? I hope I said that right. We are making a braised venison dish today with mashed potatoes and some maple glazed carrots that are gonna be roasted. Barracuda, I actually have no idea what this cut is. It was gifted from my friend that got this deer last year in the fall. But usually when you have like a roast piece like this, usually coming from either like the leg or a shoulder, right? Where there's larger muscles. So that's what my assumption is, but I also could be wrong because I am not the one that butchered this. So let's look. Doesn't actually look that bad for like the connective tissue and stuff. Maybe a little bit there we can clean off. And then let's look at like how actually lean venison is, right? So that's why we're serving it today with like some really nice rich side dishes. Because there is not much marbling in that piece of meat at all. So that is why I was also saying it's smarter to braise something like this to keep more moisture in rather than to try and roast this dry. It can really turn out dry if you try to do that. So I was going to, I actually didn't know how this shape was at first, but I actually kind of like how it's shaped. I almost just want to like slice it through this way lengthwise and braise like two little steaks, almost like osso buco, right? I might actually just grab my scimitar instead and just slice through that way. And that way we have more surface area to sear. So we're gonna have more flavor. I think it's just a good idea. I haven't cooked a ton of venison either. I will say that. Actually, I'll just use Samo's slicing knife. It's right here. A little bit when we were like on the island because we would process some deer for our friends if they got it. But we were never involved in the butchering process. I know Sam's eaten a lot of venison in his life because his family all hunts. Hi Greek, welcome in. How are you doing today? Yeah, just hold it nice and taut and cut evenly and gently right through the center. Hello. Welcome. Success. Whoa. Mucho success. Okay, I don't like these little nubbins here, so those might be little snacks later. We'll see. But press this all down into an even surface area. I'm just gonna wash my hands. And then we'll grab some seasonings. I'll probably just use salt and pepper on the venison, and then we can add all the aromatics into the pan when it braises. That'll be the easiest. It looks so good, hey Greek? Like there's barely any blood coming out of it. So it was definitely hung for the right amount of time. You've mainly had venison jerky, which is pretty legit. Yeah, I've had, like, when my dad was working at a place here, there would always be people that would, like, be hunting and bring jerky in. Moose jerky is something I've had. That's really good, too. Torino, yum. Wrap in bacon with garlic and onions and savory done and done. How would you cook that then, usually? Do you just pan fry that? Or would you, like, slowly cook it? Just roast it. Interesting. Would you find that it would get a little bit dry, or with the bacon around it, it would keep it more moist? Well, yeah, it's only been in the freezer since November, Greek. She's pretty dang fresh. I like how you said, though, afterwards, Torino, slow roast, because that is important. Yeah, Thomas is really upset. He's not even cheering for him anymore, because he hates Lewis. Guys, I don't know if anyone watches F1 in here that's watching right now, but the news about Lewis is hilarious to me. Like, so many people are upset. Okay, good amount of salt and pepper on there because we're only seasoning the one side. Just gonna grab my braising pan out. Obviously, a braising pan must have a lid. I think I'll just drop a little bit of pork fat in there, some lard. And then I wanted to show you the lid on my braising pan is like made a specific way, right? So the moisture is gonna collect on all these little divots here. And then where it gets really thick, it's gonna drop back into the pan. So all of these spots are gonna evenly like keep the meat moist as it's braising, right? Because the steam's gonna rise up, go onto the lid, and then fall back down. And it's just gonna keep swirling like that. So that's also why you don't need to completely cover the meat that you're braising, because it gets kind of basted the whole time that it's cooking. You lost interest in F1 years ago? Really, Oak? But you watch other stuff though. I mean, we all have our sports that we like to watch. That's mine. You only watch Formula Drift? I should get into watching that, Greek, but I would get like really obsessed with it. And then want to be like a driver. Okay, here's our pork fat or lard. Let's go over here. Should we start searing it yet? Maybe not quite. I think we should get all of the other aromatics ready first for the pan. Wipe off some extra pepper. So like I said, onion and garlic. We have some fresh rosemary. You can use a couple dried herbs too. But when we're braising things, so who asked this yesterday? I think it was Sherman. Was like, I've seen some recipes online where they'll just throw in like a whole sprig of an herb. I think that'll be more than enough that we need. And they're like, does that actually work? Or does no flavor even come out? And I will tell you that it actually works. So use that whole rosemary. We will get this garlic peeled though. We'll use this whole head. You put those rosemary seeds outside, Torino, you'll have like a hedge of rosemary in no time. It's kind of true though, Blood Oak. Yeah, the part like where there's just a couple teams that dominate. Last season was a little bit better with Aston Martin. Yeah, start in your Arrow Garden. Oh yeah, and just an update, guys, on the proposal that I was waiting for the job. Yeah, I didn't receive anything in my email last night. Does no one like stick to their word anymore? Or the world's just like too crazy and hectic now that it makes it impossible? Because like I feel like that's a bad look for them. Holy smokes! Another raid? Hello! Happy Chef, thank you very much for the raid today. How are you doing? Massive Greek. We love it, right? How is Happy Chef stream and what did he get up to today? Was he cooking? I know he also does, what else? Fishing. We'll go to the market sometimes. Welcome in everyone from the raid. We're just getting ready to get some venison braising for our late lunch or early dinner today. Whatever time it ends up being. They're coming in with happy food. Thanks, Happy Chef. All is well. How are you doing? He was cooking and swearing today? Oh no, but I love it. Thanks for the honesty, Wazzy. Oh, a Gordon Ramsay cosplay today, so time to chill. Dude, I need to go back and watch that. It is probably hilarious. Well, thank you for bringing your people here. And if you've never been here before, I'm Kate. I have been streaming on Twitch for over 6 years now. I am a professionally trained chef who has worked in many restaurants over the last like 12 years of my career. Currently just cooking at home. I'm waiting for a couple job prospects to come into my life. And that's about it. Every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we will cook a different meal on Twitch with recipes included so you can make it for yourself after too. And yeah, right before you guys were coming in, because we were like, we have rosemary on the board and we're dealing with garlic, we're talking about growing herbs and stuff like that, is we like to focus on sustainable food and eating here. Right? Another food and drink legend. Barracuda saying the rosemary and sage bushes are taller than them. It's true, yeah. I remember when we had a rosemary bush in one house we were at, and it was massive. Just grows like a weed almost. Okay, so let's get this garlic peeled. We're just getting together these aromatics so we can flavor our venison meat when it's braising. Nice low and slow in the oven today. Until it's like falling apart tender is what I want. Hi, Cookie. Welcome in. Ah! Ah! I hate when you're like peeling garlic and you like don't even know it's rotten until it's fully opened. Sounds good, Happy Chef. I know the deal. You always have to clean up after, right? Someone's got to do it. Thank you for bringing your people over here, and I hope you have a great weekend. Actually, our friends that we just went to the ramen place with the other day, guys, they were telling us that they're going to Vegas, I think in May, and they're trying to get in to go eat at Hell's Kitchen there when they go, but there's like a massive wait list, right? But I hope that they're able to sneak in, because I think that would be so cool. This is a friend who's like watched every episode with Sam of Hell's Kitchen. Yes, good one, Barracuda. Yeah, how easy it is to grow garlic. Something that I actually haven't attempted myself, but always wanted to do. So we're just gonna leave those garlic cloves whole for the braising. So like this stuff is already basically done. We're not gonna use the whole onion. I think we'll just use half today. And just use even like a small bit of it. Oh my lord. What is with this food that I'm buying, guys? It looks perfect, you cut into it, it's rotten in the middle. What is this world? I live in Canada, by the way, just if anyone was wondering where this food exists. Take it back. But I don't have another onion to use for stream. But I might actually take that half back because I just bought it. You know what? I might tomorrow. Because that's disgusting. When you're paying like $4 almost a pound for an onion. Yeah, not a thing. Do we still have this Scooby? No, we don't. That's been like years since we sold the Subaru. Almost 2 years, I think? It's still good, just cut out the brown. I bet you the whole inside of that onion is rotten, Torino. So what did I pay for then? We're just gonna chunk these parts up though. Perfect. Hi, Michael. That's okay that you're late. At least you're here. At least you're joining us today. Baba's getting mad at me, Torino. Well, yeah, because if I bring it back to the store, all they're gonna do is throw it out, right? That's all we're gonna get from that one. Perfect. Okay, go like medium heat. Maybe a little bit higher because we're searing. We're not cooking it through just yet. Just getting it really nice and browned on the outside. And then we just seasoned our venison pieces with salt and pepper on the one side. That is it. I'm gonna get some scoop of lard into there. I'm not gonna be afraid of the lard either, because we need some extra fat into here while it's braising. Keep everything moist. What's up, Blondie? How are you doing? Where's is buying a 5-pound bag of taters and half of them are rotten in the middle? Yeah. Ugh. And that's like one of the worst smells ever. Rotten potato. Don't mess with that. Yeah, there's nothing worse. It's like, I've done this at work before. Is like potatoes are always stored in like dark places. Same with onions, right? So you're just like picking into the bin, not really looking. If you go into a rotten potato that's like liquid inside, you'll never be the same. Trust me, I'm still not. You tell Blondie that you need fancy foods, he will send it to you. Careful. Give this a swirl and then I'll go grab some tongs. Hello, 9 of 12. How are you doing? Okay, so we got our broth here. And Brex said we'll braise it mostly in the oven, so let's get that turned on. I'm gonna braise it at 305 Fahrenheit. Because my oven is kind of cold. What's the venison cut? Everyone keeps asking that, but we don't know what the cut is today because it was gifted from a friend. Roommate says looks like a back strap. Yeah, I would say... I don't know, it looks really good, honestly. Not the loin. But I don't think it's like part of the shoulder or the leg or anything like that. Because like when we look at it, right? It's like what would that come from? It's like there's a good separation here and then a couple smaller muscles. But this is like a good just chunk of meat. Okay, turn this up. Let that get smoking, I would say, really nice and hot so we get a good sear. Basically there. It's a butt cheek. Kind of looks like one, right? Give that a little press. It's deceiving though how much meat was here. And because there's not a ton of fat in there, it's not gonna shrink a lot either. I don't know the cut of venison, guys. I think I should put it in the title. Because everyone keeps asking what the cut is. We don't know what it is. It's just gifted from a friend. It's okay. It's just making me laugh because you're like, I'm, what, the 5th person I think that's asked? And like, I would want to know too, right? So I would come in and ask the same thing. I'm just laughing because I knew I would be dealing with these questions today. You had an aunt stew you a loin once? That sounds pretty sad. Did she understand why she shouldn't have stewed the loin though? Like, did you teach her? What if you got venison nards? Well, then I guess we're eating the nards. And hi, Paloozer. Missed you. Hope you're good. What? I've eaten prairie oysters before. You think growing up in Alberta? Come on. Okay, I'm just gonna go grab some dried thyme that I have in the spice area that I want to add with the rosemary, garlic, and onion, and maybe some bay leaf. No! So your aunt stole your venison and then stewed the loin? I'm walking away. That's a very sad story. I think the cut his leg around. I was like, it looks like a beef round, right? Maybe a inside round? Paloozer says, yeah, it's definitely round, guys. The moose nards are an odd taste. You dare say you would not go out of your way for that again. Interesting. We can brown it more. Maybe I'll give this a little swivel because I know my stovetop's not super even. Smelling nummy though. I don't know if we'll need all of this stock. And then actually, while this is going, you know what we're gonna do? Ready? Let the onions start to caramelize. Torino, the stories of your family make me laugh so much. Thank you for that. And we might actually put a little bit of butter in. So I got some nice butter to use up. Just like a small nub to braise in there. Because yeah, I am like a butter or lard person now. I'm really trying to not use seed oils. Heimerdinger. Thank you for the follow. That one looks good. This other one, I think we're gonna give it a little swivel. Stir the onions a bit. Because anytime we get caramelization, that's extra flavor, right? Yeah, you always need some butter. Maybe we will add some right now, actually. That should do it. I gotta write your stories down, Torino. Twitch memoirs. Twitch chat memoirs. I love it. I haven't had venison in, like, for sure, I would say 3 years. Since we left the island. Although, wait, what was I given? No, that was just summer sausage. That wasn't like a game meat sausage. I'm gonna spread some of these out. Okay, so the butter's also gonna help it brown quicker. Just keep that in mind, okay? Oh, yeah, see? This one's like shrinking up really weird. It's funny. But that did help us moving it around there. And you can also tell, like, that you should be braising a piece of meat when it does, like, kind of shrink and seize up like that when you're searing it. Well, there's no way that you can just go eat that like a steak, right? I know the camera's a little laggy today, I'm sorry. Sometimes that happens on the weekend because there's more people home using Wi-Fi, right? Hi, Chic, AK. You had to watch Sven make terrible food today. I'm sure it wasn't that bad. Come on. Hi, Dusty. How are you doing? Welcome. What temp am I looking for? Oh, I'm like cooking this. We're braising it. Long ass time. Yeah, 200. Probably close to it though, honestly. Like to get meat to the fall apart stage, you actually have to get it close to internal 200 Fahrenheit. Yeah, Dust, I've never really cooked venison like this either, so I'm very excited for this today. I think we can probably add the garlic cloves now. Everything's flipped over. Just trolling Sven, I love it. That's why I was like, I don't think bad food exists over there. Your son will be there soon. He's got a big appetite. Yeah, there's enough to share. I think you can. From what I can remember, you can cook venison medium rare like beef. Yeah. Just not like bear, right? Bear is one that you really have to cook fully so that you don't die when you eat it. But yeah, venison you can cook very similar to any way that you cook beef. That's a great way to go about it. Just keep in mind it's a lot more lean than beef, so always add a bit extra fat. That's my only suggestion. Okay, finish adding our aromatics and then get some braising liquid in, and then we should be able to get this in the oven. Couple bay leaves. This is just thyme that I bought fresh and then dehydrated myself. And as well with game meats, a rule of thumb that we're taught is like anything that grows together goes together. So like think about things that deer eat and like what they're around. Well, that's gonna be really good flavors to also cook the meat with. Okay, I'm gonna do, maybe we'll do one stir just to get the rosemary like heated, and then I'll do a deglaze with this. And yeah, we're gonna pour in all that yummy fat floating on top. Give that a little like swirl around because we want to get all the fond off the bottom of the pan. Look at the color of that sauce already. Just kind of swiping it to get the fond off of there. Turn that off because we're already simmering. That's exactly how you want it to go into the oven. And then we're just gonna pop the lid on. Put it in the oven. Ta-da! Hardest part of stream complete. Producer says you can even eat the deer raw like a wolf if you want to. Yes, yeah. Like Sam was saying, a carpaccio or a tartare. So good when prepared right. And hi, Mickey. The chicken curry worked out. You're chuffed. That means you're like hyped up in UK terms. I'm very proud of you today for retrying it. And I'm very proud of you for also making it better than the last time, right? Made a couple adjustments and now you have a perfect dish. Deer makes amazing like bourguignon. So like any kind of stew, I can imagine. You woke up, basically had a box of vanilla pudding for breakfast, served up in half of a half-gallon milk. Did you just mix pudding in a milk jug and chug it? What? What? You guys are my favorite. Okay, let me get this timer on so we don't forget about the venison. I'm gonna check it in an hour. Oh, you ate it with a spoon. Phew. I thought you just like poured the instant pudding mix into the jug, shook it up, and you like chugged the pudding out of it. I mean, that's efficient. Okay, put a few things away and then we'll roll into prepping our potatoes and carrots while this is going. And thanks, Wayne, for the coffee. It's really a good one. Where was it from? Remedy. They would do a Vietnamese coffee there. You think your brother did that? Shake up the pudding in the milk jug, then just cut off the top? Hey, it saves dishes. You can't even be mad. It's potato time. Seriously, the biggest potato of life in that bag. Agree, because we just talked about not drinking it. It was extra. It was extra, so now I just have to make sure I work out later so I can sleep. If, like, free coffee appears, can you really turn it down? What is this? This is new! I'm actually, like, really obsessed with this right now. I'm glad I looked at it. Look at this on the potato bag. They show you what to do with each type of potato. Boil, bake, steam, mash, roast, fry. What is the other ones? Soup or scalloped? What? Potato chart for the win. Okay, which one's the most versatile? It is the yellow, I think. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yellow, russet, and fingerling are all the most versatile potatoes. You can do the most things with them. But even then, you can... all those potatoes, you can do different cooking things with them, right? So interesting. So these are yellow potatoes today. So I just wanted to make sure, under the mash section, that they were there. Imagine they weren't. Yeah, we're gonna make mashed potatoes today with the yellow potatoes that shouldn't be. Does this one have it too? Nice. Where are these even from? Okay, so they come from US, but they're packed in the city where we live. What? Yes, russet potatoes for double baked potatoes. I've been having a hankering. We might actually make those next week for Super Bowl. What do you guys think? Should we make some Super Bowl foods? Taters. We got the taters. Tasty taters. So let me tell you this. So that bag of potatoes, a 5-pound bag of peppers, a big bag of cucumbers, and what was the other thing I got with them? We have this thing for 4 for $20 at this store. Oh, avocados. So I got those potatoes, cucumbers, peppers, and avocados all for 20 bucks. You can't beat that price. Because even I was in Costco yesterday, and I always look at the price of avocados there. And they're selling a bag of avocados at Costco for $11. So the bag that I get from my other store, I get 4 avos for $5. Which is like way better. So just keep that in mind. Like Costco is not always actually the cheapest place. They'll kind of sneak that up on you sometimes. They're so overpriced, for sure, right? And like, especially the more northern you go, like where we are, so expensive. But it's like it's one fat that I really love to have every now and then. Loaded nachos with beef? We could make something up with that, for sure. You guys know I love nachos, and that's like one thing that I can eat, right? I gotta make sure that Wayne is home with me then if Sam's not, though, to eat all the food. You would? Yes, phew. He said he'll help, guys. Bonk! Hi, Bonk! That's because the Mexican cartels have control of the avocado and lime markets. I know that actually firsthand. when we were working in Vancouver at the brewery, because like Sam was the chef, right? So you'd always have to do all the ordering, even for the bar. Well, yeah, there was once upon a time, one year, was it like 2016-ish, I think? That, what's a case of limes? Like 50 pounds, I think? 30 pounds? Whatever like the big ass box of limes that you order for a restaurant is. Well, that went up to $200 a case. And I remember our general manager just being like, there's no way you're ordering those limes. I don't care if they want lime with their soda. They're not getting it. And we're just like, okay. And it was literally because of the cartels. Like, we got a note from the food supplier at that time being like, hey, this is what's going on. We don't know how long it's going to be going on for. And we have no control over it. Hi, Wilson. And Armored as well. Welcome, friends. Hello? I don't think these came from the same field. So I'm trying to keep most of the skin on, because I love skin on mash, especially golden. But we only clean off any little blemishes that we don't want to eat. Because once it's cut up, it's hard to do that afterwards, right? I'm so excited, Wilson, to eat this today. The deer meat was gifted from our friend. Hey, that looks good. Bonk, are you doing okay? How was your week? Me too, Torino. Me too. Do I know if it was a buck or a doe? I actually don't. I actually don't. All I know is that it was whitetail. Okay, so before we start cutting this, I usually just get a pot beside me to put the taters into. Oh. Easy now. Easy. And then we'll top it with cold water afterwards. So I usually cut like 1-inch cubes for making mashed potatoes, and that way they don't take forever to come up to a boil on the stovetop. Maybe 20 minutes, 25. Gotta go to the store, get some ish. Okay, I might still be on Greek, but if not, maybe I'll see you tomorrow. And stay safe out there, okay? That is what they say. Hey, Wilson, his doe is a little bit more tender than a buck. Torino, it was Buck. His name was Bob. He had 48 children and 18 wives. Oh. He did his services and duties, though, let's be honest. Okay, sounds good, Bunk. Hello to your guest as well, if they're watching. Yeah, only 48 kids? Come on. Slacker. Okay, this mass thing. You have to clear the whole board just to cut up one potato. Bye, Greek. You would ask that question, Torino. I mean, we're curious though, aren't we? Ah. Keep it together. There. so much leftover mashed potatoes. I might have to make potato patties this week. Have you guys ever done that with extra mashed potato? You like form them into patties and fry them in a pan. It's pretty money, honestly. Or you could also use them up in a soup. Extra mashed potato to thicken a soup. Perfect. Okay, rinse this off. Perfect, Michael. That's what we do here. Always giving new ideas. Okay, we need cold water running. And then even this out. We're just gonna pour enough water to cover the potato, not all the way the whole pot. Mickey, you're making pizza tomorrow? You got the base? Is it like just dough or is it like a pre-made crust? Hello, cold water? Do you exist? I don't know if that would work yet. It is to like use mashed potatoes for gnocchi, because the thing about gnocchi is the mixture actually has to be really dry so that when you go to cook it in the water, it doesn't fall apart, right? So like to me, all the extra fat and dairy will probably not let the gnocchi stay together. And that's coming from someone who has actually made potato water before, unfortunately. It happens to the best of us. A pre-made crust in a packet. I saw they had a pre-made like cauliflower gluten-free crust at the store that I kind of wanted to try one time for myself. Okay, before we put that to the stove, we always have to salt our potatoes. And really anything that we cook in water, right? Yeah, like what Torino said. To absorb that extra liquid from the mashed potatoes to make gnocchi, you'd use more flour, and then it would get very dense and heavy and actually mess with the texture. Just grabbing salt because I gotta fill up my container. Yeah, gnocchi is actually like a pretty hard one to perfect. Because it really just depends on the potato you start out with. Every potato's different, right? It's actually already starting to smell good in here. So we're gonna make the water for the potatoes taste like the sea, and that way they're not bland. That can go over to the stovetop. So just keep in mind for later that that'll probably take around 20 minutes or 15 minutes at least to like come up to a boil usually. And then to actually cook the potatoes, maybe 10, not even. So I usually like to give myself 30 minutes or a little bit more to make mashed potatoes at home. And if you get them done a little bit early, that's okay too. Because of the starch in there, it'll stay warm on the stovetop without actually having the burner on. But I would say no more than like 30 minutes before you plan to serve them. What, Torino? I love that. You taught them how to make gnocchi when you worked at the Juniper Center in the residential program. And they still make the gnocchi, and you did that back in 2007? Good job, dude. That's so cool. Like hard to drink the coffee with the ice in it. I don't know, it's weird. Yes. Yeah, one of like our friend that we worked with in Vancouver, Brody, he's Haida, so Haida, and they moved back there, and he's like involved in the community so much now. creating all these programs for up there. It's so cool to see him doing that. Just grabbing our carrots out. Oh, and I was actually planning to serve like some peas with this dish because I thought it would look so good, but I totally forgot to buy them at the store. So we don't get any peas today. No peas, if you please. I do love these carrots though, so I'll probably make a little bit extra for my own self. To use all the really big ones up. No peas, only carrots. I got some broccoli that I might just roast up randomly today to get out of the fridge. That's about the only green thing that I have though. And we're not doing cabbage again. Please, no. The only green I have is the devil's lettuce. Nice. He's got the herbages. I think today looks really nice out. Going for a walk after stream. Maybe I'll see my city kitty. It's been almost like a month since I've seen it. That is way too long. Yeah, actually I should go for a walk today if it's gonna snow tomorrow. Professional scheduler right there. City kitty. It's the best one ever, Paloozer. I wish I could take it home. It's seriously that nice. Like, we are best buds forever. You're totally taking a bike ride? How is your new bike though, Dust? I haven't asked. Are you just loving life or what? I think next month, like March, when Samo's home, we're getting the bikes set up and riding them again. It's been way too long. You love it, you miss having it so much. I think that's where we're at too. It's like it's just sitting there, what the heck? It's way more fun to do in the summer anyways, right? Or the springtime even. Okay, so how we're gonna cut these carrots, maybe even get a bowl too, so we can dress them after. It's like called oblique shape, I would say. Like you go on an angle like that and get these cool random cuts. And I just find that whenever we make these carrots and roast them, they cook the best when you cut them like this. Lukey Bears, where's Sam been at? He's up at work. I actually just dropped him on Thursday this week for supposed to be another 21 days, but he might be coming home on Tuesday. They're just a little low. Well, actually, I should say a lot low on diesel up at site. So they might actually have to shut it down for a little bit until they get enough fuel to run again. But yeah, if you go back and watch some of the VODs from like the past 3 weeks, Samo's been here. And thank you for asking about him too. Wayne, do you want to put anything in the fridge? Okay. Oh, then you're fine, yeah. I wasn't sure if you had like a cheesecake or something in there. You love Samo. So do I. You have your bike sitting in your apartment? Me too. Yeah, there's no way that we're putting our bikes downstairs in the storage locker. I see like a new one broken into almost every day I go down there. We haven't rode our bikes in at least 2 years. It's been way too long, but it is like so nice to always have that option, right? I don't know if it's the same now how it was before, like during COVID, but it was actually really difficult to even try to buy a bike. There was like a shortage of bicycles during COVID. I'm grabbing olive oil, maple syrup, dried dill over here. Your local baker has started making the best bread you've ever ate, Frank. It's like a dark Danish rye bread, but quite sweet with walnuts, whole wheat kernels. Oh, that reminds me of my grandma. She would make that. Malt and a light taste of coffee. So you have that like in the morning for breakfast, or what would you eat that with? That sounds so delicious. Okay, get these drizzled with olive oil. That's actually not that much carrots now that we like cut them all up. What the heck? You could also use butter if you don't want to use olive oil. Just make sure you melt it. And then the only thing when you melt the butter and pour it on the cold carrots is it kind of hardens, but don't worry, it's okay. It all roasts up the same. Start a bike gang? Ooh. If you actually look up on like a local Facebook group or something, you might actually find a local little bike community in your area. I know we have a couple around here, and like on some weekends in the summer is they'll do like one big ride all together. And yeah, it looks really fun actually. Frank, you eat that bread with butter, apricot marmalade, and Gouda cheese. I want that right now. I love apricot preserves so much. I think they're actually my favorite preserves for fruit. Even more than berries. None of your friends ride bikes, so yeah, that would be a perfect thing. Like, I know there was, when we first moved here, there was like a women's downhill group, because there's like some downhill trails in the river valley here that I could have rode with. And when we were on the island, actually, Sam found a biking group, and he went riding with them a couple of times as well, Dust. Doing a good amount of the dried dill. I will say these turn out way better with fresh dill, but it is the middle of winter, so it's not really in season right now. And I am trying to abide a little bit more by those rules. It's like, as a chef, I always want to be using fresh herbs, but it's not that good on the budget, you know? That's why I said if I get the job here and I know I'm gonna be home, I'll get the arrow garden set up. Grow our herbs, and then that's all we get to use, right? No more buying herbs from the store. I know, Torino. That's the one where Baba's definitely upset. No dill on the go? Shh. What kind of Ukrainian are you? Looks like you could be working in the hotel by spring. Fun, Mickey. Are you excited? I need to take this lid off because it's impossible to drink this. The ice gets like stuck in the spout. And there's no coffee past 3 p.m. Actually, roommate has an arrow garden already. He said I could use it. So we have the arrow garden and we have the closet. But the arrow garden actually just lives in the kitchen, which is pretty handy. It doesn't have to go in the closet. Okay, I'm gonna prepare a sheet pan for roasting these. Actually, maybe I'll just go more like a roasting, smaller pan, because there's not that much. Just gonna do a little parchment on the bottom. It's a country club golf resort. Those are really fun places to work, I will say. Just the one summer that I worked at a golf course, some of the most fun I've honestly ever had working somewhere. It's pretty lax. Like, even for, like, if it's a fancy place, it's a pretty lax job. And yeah, you're, like, kind of always outside in the summer. I think you'll really like it as a change. Frank, kind of expensive loaves at 450. Is that like 450 euros? Or is that American? But then when you eat it, you find yourself not getting hungry for longer compared to having normal other bread. So yeah, like the nuts and the seeds and stuff inside of there are helping to keep you more satiated, right? And that will that will happen when you eat more like higher fat things. Is fats help keep you satiated. So nuts and seeds have a lot of fats in them naturally. Okay, so we're 30 minutes into our braising timer. We still have to prep a couple things for the mashed potatoes. Oh, don't worry, we're not gonna be bored by any means. Okay, so it is approximately 450 a loaf. That's not bad. I mean, like, I've been buying gluten-free breads for myself just because I really like to have it with eggs in the morning during the week. And those loaves are so expensive. Like, I get them on sale, and it's like $8 almost. I think that's ridiculous. Whoa, I like really poured a lot of glaze down here. Hello? Almost turns into like a maple syrup and olive oil caramel. You're also a member at the gym, so you already know everyone. Well, that's important and like also helpful. Because sometimes it can be a little bit like scary to go to a new job where you don't know anyone. Okay, I scraped all the goodness in. I think we might actually put the broccoli on the other side of this pan. We're not gonna serve the broccoli with the dish, I don't think. But I'm just gonna do it as like a meal prep item to fill out the rest of this pan. And like this'll all soak back into the carrots, I would say, as they're roasting. That's actually really smart, Torino, like putting the air garden in the closet, like you're saying. Has doors and you can regulate the temperature better. That makes a ton of sense. Cause yeah, especially if you're like us, you keep the house pretty cool, right? Although the seeds are not gonna germinate at that temperature. And that's the other thing, there's sometimes like, because we kind of use the AeroGarden as like a lamp right now. So sometimes if like everyone goes to bed, you like go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, the light literally blinds you. Started thinking about coffee as a spice now. You read it's used in rubbing on wild game like venison. Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah, coffee rubs are really delicious. I've had it on lamb before. Sam makes a really nice coffee rubbed lamb from a restaurant that he used to work at. Okay, I'm just bringing a couple things away. And then we'll pop the broccoli in that other side, because why not? I'm just gonna pop some garlic on the broccoli, and that's it for flavoring. Keeping it nice and simple. Should still be good. Just move that up. I kept all the really small florets for this reason. Okay, there's a couple pieces that we do have to cut off. So the broccoli is going to be done early too, so I'll just scoop it out of the pan. And then let the carrots keep going. And if some of them look really bad, just throw it out. So the broccoli will roast in like 15 minutes, I think. And the carrots will be closer to 30. So keep that in mind for later. It's really good. Yeah, the coffee rub when you do it, just something different. Definitely holds up more to like the red meats, right? Something that can hold up to that stronger flavor. Don't do it on anything like chicken. I wouldn't do it with pork either. The only thing that I'm trying to think back on now when I ate the coffee rubbed lamb was like if the coffee affected me afterwards and I couldn't sleep, but I can't remember. I'm just gonna dress the broccoli on this side in the pan. Wipe all this off. It's getting colorful. I wasn't responding, Frank, because I saw that you had ads. Coffee is really good in chocolate desserts, yeah. Like one of the best chocolate cakes ever, and I would always request my mom to make it for my birthday. It has coffee in it. Torino. It's like, there you go. There you go, Frank. Torino, thank you for gifting this sub to Frankly Delicious. Now you don't have to watch ads, dude. Our generous community here. Those dang Canadians. We'll get the Brocco massaged up. More seasoning. You realize how much pepper you use when you have to fill up the grinder all the time. It's quite a bit, honestly. Okay, so like I said, we're gonna like massage it. Squeeze it together. And I just find the broccoli roasts better when you do this. There's like not too much excess oil. Bam. It's true, Frank. Making food is sometimes a grind. Okay, veggies are prepped. Put that over by the stove. Just gonna put a couple things away. And we'll get our butter ready for our mashed potatoes. Green onions sliced for them as well. I'm also going to chop a little bit of parsley for garnish today, just to sprinkle over the dish when it's all plated up. Pub time tomorrow for you. Do you always go to the same spot, Mickey? I feel like that's a very UK thing to do. I learned a little bit about UK culture when my aunt was working there for quite a long period of time when I was young. Yeah, she worked there so long that she developed a accent. I think it's mostly gone now though, because she's been back in Canada for quite a while. You have 2 local pubs that you like rotate through, let's say. It's so good. Nice. That is not really a thing here to do. I don't know. It's so different. Okay, green onion and parsley. You subbed? You might have to refresh because it hasn't come up yet on my side. These green onions are just massive this week. I mean, I'm not really complaining. Just haven't seen them that large. They're almost more like a spring onion. You have 3 pubs that you go to, Scoots? That is cool. Actually, let's put the rest of these in too. I think maybe for like some people here, going to the pub can be like a routine thing, but it's not like how you guys go. It's more like they just go and get like plastered, right? Yeah, that is definitely one thing I noticed when I was traveling in England, is people are so social after work. Oh no. Why did we ban Mickey? Was it an accident, Scoots? I didn't see what he said. Do you know how to unban? It's okay, it happens. He's probably like, what did I do? Nice cookie. Mickey, you're fine. Scooter meant to respond. And like when you're a mod, you have all these different settings in chat, so you can accidentally press the wrong button if you like scroll too fast. You didn't do anything. Just a funny coincidence, that's all. You got worried. I knew you would. It happens to the best of us. Trust. Just keep chopping. Whoa, I didn't realize, like, this is really far back. This is like the middle of my cutting board, but it looks like I'm literally working right in front of me. Oh, then yeah, then both of you guys were trying to unban him at the same time, and it's just like, no, you're doing too much at once. Too cute. The mods are too powerful. It would be you, right, Mickey? The most innocent person ever. Every time I walk over to the stove, I smell what's cooking in it. What time's your thing, Wayne? You might luck out with a little lunch. That is so much parsley. Who's gonna eat all that? Another one for our green onions for our mashed potatoes. Yeah, don't worry about it, Scooter. We're A-okay. Mistakes happen. Everyone's alright. You're a mod on a ghost hunt channel on YouTube? That's cool. Also scary. So do they do live streams over on that channel then? Every evening they live stream at 9 p.m. different locations. Okay, you know what I saw in a video on Instagram yesterday, and I don't actually know if this is a true thing or if someone just like edited it to make it look like this. But someone took their Tesla to a cemetery at night and like it picks up on ghosts walking around the car. So I don't know if it's a real thing, because everyone in the comments is like, does someone with a Tesla actually go test this? And like no one ever responds. So do we have to go try it? Because I'd be so terrified. Straight up dust. Yeah. Because the carpet like has the sensors, so like when you're driving, it'll show what vehicle is around you, whether it's like a truck, a semi, a car. It'll pick up on all the pedestrians walking around you. It has like all those safety features, but then someone's like, what if we take it to a cemetery at night? And he was showing like there was figures of people popping up on the screen, but then when you show what's outside the car, there was nothing. I don't think Sam would do it with me, because like he doesn't really like scary movies. Okay, Wayne says he'll do it. Imagine if you did that every stream, Scoots. Just randomly ban someone because you felt like it. Okay, green onions, complete. Where are we on our list? I really wrote it messy today, too. We cut the venison, seasoned it, seared it. We're braising it. We got all the herbs, onion, garlic, bay leaf in there. Potato, we got the greeno. Carrots are all complete, we just have to cook them. Okay, so let's get our butter out for the mashed potatoes next. And I suppose we should stir up the sour cream and get it ready to go. Michael, you do the Tesla thing, but you're not in Canada. You gotta go stir your soup. I hope it's not burnt. They're on location in the woods tonight, staying in a tent on like that ghost channel that you mod for. Ah. Does anything crazy ever happen that you get scared of? Also, are they in the UK or are they in North America or somewhere else? Okay, how much butter for the mashed potatoes? Let's cut like that first. That. Maybe a small bit more. I'm just cutting little thin pieces so that they melt in easy later on. One thing that I've seen online a lot is people will tell you to like melt your butter for mashed potatoes with milk or cream so that everything's warm. And it actually does affect how they mash up. Like when you melt the butter, you're separating it from itself, right? And that affects how the potatoes mash together later on. So I actually always suggest people to use like cold dairy with your potatoes because it kind of cools them down as you're mixing it and it makes the starches not as gluey. Like a lot of times when I have tried to do a mashed potato with the dairy heated up, it gets really soupy and weird. The cold butter keeps it like lighter. Lighter and more fluffy. Yeah, that one is like a pretty traditional one. They used to do that a lot, is sprinkle a little bit of nutmeg in the mashed potato. Okay, what do we got on our timer now? 10 minutes. So maybe I'll just pop that into a container. And we can put the rest of the butter back in the fridge. They have caught things on camera, Mickey. Ah! Scooter, you did an overnight ghost tour in an old territorial prison you have in your area? Was it fun? Hi FCB, welcome in. How's your weekend going? You working hard or not too bad? In Cincinnati, they have ghost tours of the underground beer cellars. Just a bunch of drunk ghosts stumbling around. They can't be that harmful. You have been quite busy? Oh man. What are they doing to you over there? They also go do abandoned buildings. Yeah, those are good ones. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I've never been good with like paranormal stuff. Okay, I wanna check the venison, guys. What? There was actually ghost hunters there on your tour when you went? Did you get goosebumps, Scoots? Did you feel stuff at some parts? Ooh! It's too scary. Okay, we still gotta stir up our sour cream. Brand new container, you know how it is. Chicksands Priory in England has a ghost? Where the heck is that? When the sour cream almost looks like cheese, it's so thick. That's some serious stuff. Is it serious? Okay. Look at how thick this is. It's like ice cream almost. There's not even like liquid to stir in. I will say it's like some of the best tasting sour cream ever. It tastes very similar to what I used to get from my aunt's farm. Oh my god. Looks like creme fraiche. Looks like mascarpone. Can go on and on. I'm on the Bluetooth speaker. That's like when people are like, hey, I have you on the big screen. I'm like, oh shit. You did? Oh. I get nervous. I get too nervous. Okay. We have like under 10 minutes to go. And like for some reason, I feel like this venison is gonna cook pretty quick. So let's check it. We're just almost at the hour now. Because, like, if it is close, well, then we gotta get the sides cooking. I see steam rolling out of there. Careful, right? Because the lid's really hot. Holy shit, that's looking really good. Just gonna poke it. Oh yeah, she is not ready yet. Not even close. Do I need more liquid in there? Maybe a little bit. It looks like it reduced a touch in the oven. Just pour a little bit more water back in there because that's all that happened is it reduced a bit. Boom. And I might also flip these over. Kind of like a little halfway check. Yeah. The broth really smells good, Jimmy. So definitely needs longer. I would say probably close to an hour is what we still need on that. There's no rushing. Low and slow is the temp you need. You can't just turn it up and be like, I want to eat this sooner. It doesn't work like that. It's an old nunnery near Stonehenge. Wait, I've been there. I've been near Stonehenge. A nun fooled around and was walled up alive? That would be terrifying. On the outside of the building, there's 5 windows on one wall, and on the inside, there's only 4. That's so scary. That's nuts, guys. Okay, one thing that we're gonna work on while we're waiting is I want to get some lard rendering from the pork that we trimmed yesterday on stream. If you guys were on stream yesterday, we cooked up some really nice pork chops from our friends, but they had a massive fat cap on it, so we just trimmed it off. So I'm just gonna chop that up really nice and fine. Pop it in a pot with some cold water, and you let that cook for like hours. It'll probably go overnight even. And that is like the best way to render your fat down to be usable for cooking. It's gonna have the cleanest and lightest flavor compared to a lot of people say, like, if you just roast this in the oven, it's gonna have a really weird flavor in the end. So yeah, that's how you get the really nice fat that we used from the jar to sear the venison first thing today. I'll just show you really quick. As it turns out to be something like this after it's all strained. So I actually didn't finish it all the way. I need to get that liquid out from under there, and it should just be fat in the jar. But that's how it turns out. It's so nice. And like way cheaper than buying oil, right? Because it's not cheap to buy oil anymore. It's really expensive. Yeah, Mickey, remember when we were living in my brother's house? And what we called the ghost there, Frank? The amount of issues we always had with stream and the power and everything. Holy smokes, there was definitely a ghost still there. Hi, Walter Mellon. How's your weekend? Okay, so we're just gonna slice through like this. It's like the smaller your fat chunks, the quicker it'll render. A lot of people will actually take this and like put it through the meat grinder, so it's really fine. But I found just chunking it up like this also works. It was hunted. Yeah, it was hunted by my friend. And they just dropped this off on Wednesday this week to me. And then this is also some pork fat trimmed from some pork that they gave too. From their sister's farm. Ah! Feels so cool cutting through that. So there's a little bit of blood in there. But that is why we render the way we do, right? Because that's going to clarify. You won't even know it was there. So wash off your knife with soap and water. Who in chat right now has eaten venison before? And then, did you cook it yourself? Or did someone else make it for you? You have to skim the lard while it's cooking. This looks really clean. But yeah, sometimes you will notice that like that scum, same with how when you're making a stock with bones, sometimes there's that little bit of like foamy scum that floats up. It's always a good idea to skim that off early because yeah, you'll just be skimming it out later on, right? When it's all cooked. This is just pork fat that we're gonna render into some usable cooking fat. It was trimmed from a pork chop that we cooked on stream yesterday. I didn't want to throw it out because that's like liquid gold right there. So I'm going to show you guys the process of how to render your own lard to use. Because yeah, a lot of people recently have stopped using as many seed oils. And animal fats are one of the ways to do that. And pork fat is the one that's used the most because it has the lightest flavor. Compared to like a beef fat has a really strong flavor. Same with lamb fat, a lot of game meats. You only eat elk or venison except for steaks. That's amazing, Scooter. You've cooked it, Michael? So cool. Okay, so now I'm gonna run cold water. And we'll actually like almost fill this pot with cold water. And then it's just gonna slowly cook on low heat, a nice simmer, until this is all like basically cooked and shriveled up and there's a nice layer of fat on the top of the water. And so then after you strain it the first time, you're gonna put it into the fridge, and then the fat and the water is gonna separate. The fat's gonna float to the top and harden into a nice piece that you can just take off of that liquid that you cooked it in, and then you scrape like impurities off of the bottom of the fat that was touching the liquid. And then from there you can use it, or you can cook it one more time in water to clarify it even more. Let's say like if you were making like a whipped tallow moisturizer or something like that. So I would be so interested to see like how they make the tender flake, the lard in a mass like factory setting. How would they be rendering it out, right? That's all it is. And yeah, fat will always like float to the top. You had venison summer sausage when you were a kid, but that was the only time. It yields really nice to those kinds of techniques like charcuterie and stuff. You were once told that pork has the most carcinogens in them. You also believe happiness is healthy too, so you don't know what to believe. Your dad's the healthiest guy you ever met and he got cancer, right? You really just have to live your life and do what makes you happy. People are always gonna say stuff. Does it really matter though at the end of the day? Not really. You choose what you want to believe and then go with those values throughout your life. What's wrong with seed oils? You've heard this a lot recently. I would suggest you look this up. But like the basis of it is this. And this is something that I have educated myself on being in Canada. It might be different in like Europe and other places in the world. But here in North America, so how seed oils became a thing to use in cooking is after the war, there was this mass influx of oil that people weren't using to run the machinery, right, from the war. They marketed this same exact oil to then be consumed by humans instead. So I'm sure they go through a different process to make it like edible for us. But just think of this. Literally the same oil that was used to run vehicles is that oil that is grapeseed oil, canola oil, rapeseed oil, soybean oil. Like I could go on. So just go look it up, guys, if you are curious about it, because I was like flabbergasted. I was like, no way that this is true, right? It actually is. And so here in Canada, especially in the province that we live in, that's all that is grown mostly is canola seed. So that's all I remember, like going out to the farm when I was young. You're just driving by fields and fields of yellow canola flowers, and it smells so bad. So not saying that like you have to cut it out of your diet 100%, because that's pretty much impossible in this world, in this day and age. But to cut back on it, I think is actually really good for us. Let's pop this pot on here and get it cooking. Always good to put a lid on. Yeah, like Mickey said, remember Kate, my mom had cancer. She was healthy, never drank, smoke anything. Now she's good. That also goes to show, like, if you live a healthy lifestyle and you do overcome an illness like that, maybe you get better quicker. Something to think about. But I think we can honestly, like, make a list now of things. You can make a smaller list of things that don't cause cancer compared to a list of things that do cause cancer, right? Olive oil and rapeseed oils are good oil. I'm gonna go with the olive oil part of it, but I don't believe that rapeseed oil is actually that good for us. In moderation, like I said, right? Like, I'm not saying that I don't eat deep fried French fries or anything like that from the stores. I definitely still use olive oil though. The rapeseed, I'll let you guys judge that one, because like I said, could be different how it's processed in Europe compared to North America. And hi, Red Bean Bitter Cream, how are you doing? Okay, what do we got on our timer? I think I'm gonna turn these potatoes on because I feel like it's gonna take a while to get them cooked. So we'll pop those onto a medium heat. And then for our roasting of the carrots, so our oven's at around 300 Fahrenheit. Not really a roasting temperature, so it'd be more like a slow roast if we were to put the veggies in the oven right now. One thing that I was thinking of doing is just finishing the braise on the stovetop and then roasting the veggies in the oven. Lukey Bear says, what is the actual truth about olive oil though? Can you fry things in your pan with olive oils or roast them? Gordon Ramsay uses it literally for everything, yet I'm always told that due to the low smoke point, it's carcinogenic. There really is, like... It's hard to say what it is right and what is wrong. Because I've also heard the same things. It's like, I was told the same thing with olive oil, even in culinary schools. Like, you don't use that oil to really fry or sear things in. But then I've seen cookbooks where they're using olive oil to deep fry like a chicken parmen, like straight olive oil. And he's like, yeah, it gives it like a really good flavor. So then I was so confused after that. So I honestly don't even know how to answer that question. I will say, like, if you do want to use olive oil for that searing or like sort of a high heat, just cut it with half of a different fat, right? That has a higher smoke point. Then you don't have to worry as much about the carcinogens. Even for a chef, it's confusing. So that's why I always say, just like do what makes you happy and what you feel comfortable with. Because everyone always has an opinion, right? And maybe it also, like, we can say it depends on the type of olive oil, because there are different olive oils to buy in the store. So you should actually always be cooking with extra virgin olive oil. There are other versions, like just one that is branded olive oil. And that is actually a blend of oils. And I would really not recommend to cook with that one. But then I also like wouldn't really recommend to even buy that one to use as like a salad dressing ingredient, because the taste is so bitter to me compared to an extra virgin olive oil. Samo's giving us some links here. Let's see. Nice, Samo. Thank you. Charred meat does taste good, right? But there is also a difference between like charred, properly like caramelized, and burnt, right? Lukey Bears, you pan fry stuff and sear with avocado oil. I have heard that's a pretty good one too. I've actually never purchased avocado oil. I've used it a couple times in restaurants, but yeah, I've never bought it for myself to use. It sounded so weird. I thought that was like my stream. Okay, I'm gonna switch a couple things around. How do I want to do this? I think I'm gonna do it this way. Because we're gonna take the potatoes, move them here. That's cooling off. We're gonna put the braising pot on there to slowly simmer. And then we're gonna turn our oven up so that we can roast our veggies. And then the only important thing here is that we really watch like how the simmering is. But I turned it pretty low. I don't know, I kind of want to put a little bit of white wine just to use it up in there. I know it's like not proper to put white wine with venison. Cookie's answer to this: you pan fry an extra virgin olive oil all the time. Key with it is you can't bring it to as high of a temp, so it just takes a little bit longer. So Cookie's done chicken parm, pork chops, etc. And then if you want the higher temps, you just use the ghee, because like a clarified butter has a higher smoke point than just regular butter. That's a great suggestion as well. Thank you for answering that. Yeah, that's what I'm interested in too, Walter Mellon, like you said. Was like seed oils have been around though in other cultures in Asia for such a long time though. So then why are they bad? Greek, welcome back. And okay, Samu, we'll be here. Okay, let's fix this. We gotta see the whole setup. Okay, I'm totally using up that wine. Because I want to get it out of the fridge. There's like barely anything left in the bottle. Problem with seed oils is how they're refined. So they have a lot of omega-6s, which we actually want like a balance of all of the omega fatty acids, not just one of them. Is this gonna be the better view? Gotta like pull you guys out and get a different angle here. There we are. Okay, I'm lifting it and pouring the wine in. Because it's still early enough that it'll cook out. And yeah, this broth is looking insane. So yeah, if you have too much omega-6s, then they will start to cause inflammation in your body. Just like how you were learning about traditional palm oil and how it isn't bad inherently, but the modern version is. So yeah, like I have that actually in my fridge because we had to buy it for a recipe before, and I will say like cooking with it was so interesting. Here, I'll show it in this other camera. And this I keep in the fridge. But like that wasn't cheap to buy. And this is like, it's unrefined, organic, source of antioxidants and vitamins A and E. And it also has like a buttery flavor. Very interesting indeed. And it even says on it, like, no refrigeration required, but I always find, like, if there's a fat that you don't use often, it's always gonna stay better longer if you do keep it cold. Are we getting drunk with wine? No, not today, boss man. Red palm versus just palm oil. Maybe that is the difference too, right? Because this is red palm oil. And I'm pretty sure that's what we bought it for. Was an African dish. I think it was the sweet potato peanut stew. That is so delicious, I will say, for a vegetarian dish. Sweet potato peanut stew. Yes, long term you always, like anything in the fridge, you want a layer of fat on it. It will preserve it better. Yuki Bears, you always used fish oil for inflammation. Recently was told about turmeric. Anyone have any thoughts? A lot of cultures, especially like Indian cultures, will use turmeric for inflammation, yeah. And they will like almost have it daily, I would say. They have it in tea or something like that. Okay, that's about the best view we can get here for today. It's so good too, right, Cookie? The only thing with the turmeric is it literally stains everything. That's the only downside. I've never heard of that Greek. Also, why is my camera moving? Hello? What are you doing? I've never heard of an allergy to turmeric. That is new. But there's so many new allergies popping up like every day. Just put in the wine bottle in the recycle. If you have turmeric on an empty stomach, it'll hurt your belly. Where did I source my venison from? It's from our friend. Yeah, our friends that we met up with in Jasper. They asked us if we wanted any meat from their deers that they got in the fall. So it's from a white-tailed deer, but I actually don't know what the cut is. We were assuming like maybe an inside round sort of cut, but it didn't say. No, Mickey, you're starting with the cold. Well, you better get that turmeric in you then. Cookie, you can't troll me like that. The stream just ends. That's it. That's how you know, Mickey. When you start sneezing like 20 times in a row, you're getting sick. Go lock yourself in your room. Make a honey ginger lemon turmeric tea. And hi Mish, how are you? I was about to message you today to see if you're alive. Oh, and also I wanted to ask you this, Mish, because you're a European that I made desserts for, but with North American ingredients, right? So I wanted to know if you noticed like a difference in your digestion when you ate the treats that I made with the North American ingredients compared to like treats that you eat in Denmark. You didn't notice any difference. Well, that's interesting. Yes, make a hot toddy. That's such a perfect nightcap. Okay, what else we got going on over here? Is this pot actually coming up? I'm gonna turn it a bit higher. It's just starting. And then let's peek at our simmering here because we might have to turn it down. Also, I kind of want to like flip the venison again. Did I ruin Dust with the cookies? Did he die? I don't think so. I haven't got a report, at least. I think this lid has like too much of a gap for proper braising. The liquid in there just keeps going down and down. Dust is undead. But yeah, that's how it's looking if you guys haven't been able to peek yet. I need to add more liquid though. Like we just added the wine and it looks like it's almost cooked out. Hello? Okay, I'm gonna grab the potato masher for later. What else? Maybe a spoon. Get the cutleries. Your favorite cookies were the yellow cake ones with the fruit in the middle, the whipped shortbreads. Those are my favorites. I am really obsessed with those. That's why I put them in the box, actually. Because that is my favorite cookie that my mom would make every year. Like the buttery shortbread with the cherry. I don't know. It's just like the texture and the flavor. Just something about it. That's so interesting, Greek. Mish, you're at dinner at your mom's. Your sister was going to bring dessert. She made a cheesecake. She forgot the gelatin in the cheesecake, so when she unpacked it on the counter, it splooted everywhere. No. Was it like an unbaked cheesecake then? Because I've never heard of that. Oh, that's so sad. So what did you guys do? Did you just like scoop it into a bowl and eat it anyways? Or did it actually go in the garbage? You cried? I would too. I don't have my resident potato masher here today. That's usually Samo's job. When things like that happen though, yeah, it's like almost so overwhelming of an experience that you will cry. Because like one, it didn't work out, and two, maybe it's not edible either. That's so sad. I think I kind of want to switch the scene. We're going over to the other side because there's more like action over here. See? The tasty taters are coming up. Pop that lid off. Was that fun, Leaky Bears? We're rolling around the kitchen. Nice Greek. Manuka honey. That stuff is expensive, but I would say it's worth it. I'm gonna turn down the potato pot a little bit. And one more check on this simmering now that we turned it down. Yeah, see? Went almost too low. It was so liquid, the cheesecake, it ran off the counter onto the floor. Yeah, Albert's the cleanup. That's when it totally pays off to be a dog. Cleanup crew. $350 mils of the Manuka honey is $22. It's actually like not bad if you save it for the times you really need it. Ugh, red bean. I imagine Dust is like one of the pirates from TPOTC, based on the looks and having the complete opposite attitude of a pirate. I'll let him answer that one for himself. Okay, so for plating this, we're gonna need a plate with a rim because we have really nice sauce to go with the venison. You don't know how to answer it, Dust? That's too cute. Dust is a pirate from the Walking Dead franchise. That's funny, I never saw a pirate in that show before. The Pirates of the Caribbean. That's what it is? I was trying to figure out what it is. So Dust is a pirate from the Pirates of the Caribbean, but without the attitude. Yeah, I could see that. Just judging by the years of knowing him, that's pretty accurate. He didn't actually make it on screen. They just needed a backup pirate. Okay, our lard is also up too. So now we are gonna turn that one down to a nice low simmer. Most people do it in the slow cooker, I will say, for like rendering. I love those movies so much, Mickey. Yeah, for like a good franchise of films, that's probably one of my faves, I would say. That I could just watch over and over, right? They still make you laugh. Okay, I'm gonna pop our veggies into roast. Oven should be nice and hot now. We turned it up to 425 Fahrenheit. They're like a chill out movie to watch. Yeah, totally. TPOTC sounds kind of like an illness, kind of, right? Yes, Greek. Hello, puppet. Yeah, there's just so many good moments in those movies, I will say that. Okay, during this moment, I think I'm gonna take a really quick bathroom break since we're just waiting on a few things. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in like a moment, okay? Watch the potatoes, make sure they don't go over. That's your job. I'm back. Why are you throwing potatoes everywhere, Mish? You lit the potato on fire? Don't. Don't do that. Is this simmering again? Yes. Should we poke the potato, see where it's at? Nice. There's only 25 minutes left now. That should actually be like pretty perfect for the veggies in the oven, for us to finish the taters because it takes a little bit to mash them, and for the venison to finish. That would be scary. You screaming in anger with a burning potato in hand. I don't wish that upon anyone. What if you hid the feta in a potato? Ooh, double baked potato with feta? Could be good. Mish is mishing again. Just need the Kate head bob of approval. We're almost there, Greek. Burned feta is not allowed, it's true. Well, we wouldn't burn the feta. That'd be a tragedy. Yeah, so crazy. Like yesterday's stream, we did 4 things, and we're basically done stream at this time. Today we did less things, easier, and it's still not done. Okay, I'm poking it. I'm bringing the paring knife over. They're almost there. I usually go until like the skin is really falling off the outside. We don't want any crunchy lumps. It's okay if it's a little bit lumpy, but they can't be crunchy. No, no. No, no. And then, yeah, this lard, like, I have it turned down to as low as possible, and it's still just, like, giving her back there. But see how the fat pieces are going more translucent already? It's working. It's working. I think we'll mash over here. Got the cutting board, so I'll get that set up for us. It seriously smells like nothing, Mish, when you cook the pork fat. I find it, like, smells way worse when you're, like, frying it in a pan. But when you're cooking it with the water, it doesn't smell like anything really in the house. And I'll also say this. So last time I did the lard rendering, I used, like, pork belly fat. There's just, like, a bunch of extra fat on the pork belly we bought, so I just, like, literally trimmed it off before we cooked it. And the water that I cooked it with, like, turned into a gelatinous broth from just cooking it with fat. So I thought that was so odd. Because, like, usually you only get that from, like, cartilage and bones and stuff. But obviously there is, like, some collagen inside of the fat too, right? So I kept all of that too. It's no stinkier than Albert. Aisle paint. Nice dad joke. Sale this week on deer balls. They're under $1. But we need the salt and pepper for the potatoes. We'll bring the butter over. Veggies are sizzling. I think we're looking good, guys. And that is simmering perfectly. So we'll taste that sauce that we've been building up in the braising pan. I might just thicken it with a little bit of a cornstarch slurry. Oh, that's so cute, Mish. Albert's exhausted from his grandma visit. He can't even lift his head. sometimes during the holidays when we would take Poshers to like our family's house and there was other dogs, she'd literally get a hangover. Why did I come back here for it again? But she'd literally get a hangover to the point where like she wagged her tail so much that day that she couldn't wag it the next day. It's like her tail was broken, and then that's how we know. So then we looked it up one time, right? It was like, what if like half of her tail wouldn't wag? The dog literally gets so exhausted from wagging their tail so much. Yeah, she bruised her tail. I was like, you're so cute. Literally hung over, just in bed all the next day. Dogs party hard, let me tell you. Okay, is the skin coming off? Almost. Not quite, though. We'll still wait. It takes more than that to do any damage to a Jack Russell. I believe it. Okay, I remembered why I went back here. And it was for the cornstarch. Have you guys heard of this? Like, it often happens if you ever work in a restaurant or like a kitchen setting, is they say when you walk through a doorway, it wipes your memory. Does that ever happen to you guys? So like a lot of times an example is you're like prepping in the kitchen and you're like, oh, I gotta go grab this from the fridge really quick. By the time you get into the fridge, you've already forgotten why you went in there. So then you walk out of the fridge. As soon as you walk out, you remember what it was that you needed. So weird. I'm finishing it. I'm gonna be bouncing off the walls later. Or we can be like some people and drink coffee and then go right to sleep. Those people are special. I think Sam is one of those people. That's you, Greek? I'm pretty sure Sam is one of those people too. Poke it. Sometimes you need caffeine to calm down. I have heard of that, actually. It sounds so funny, right? It's like, how could that even work? Okay, this looks good. Let's turn this off. That's the front burner. I will strain it at this sink. So now we'll switch this view back to the venison. Beautiful. Get my hot towels. You can't drink coffee past noon, Dust? Yeah, I usually like try to not drink it past 3 p.m. is mine. Even that's like probably pushing it. Aisle paint. Oh dear. Oh gosh. Hello, Black Wolfster. You've been lurking your Aussie. You do drink coffee before sleeping, but you have ADHD, and any stimulant is actually common to the brain. Yeah, that actually makes a ton of sense. Thank you for sharing that, and welcome. Yeah, Jitter City, right? That would be me. Okay, come on over. Also, you fry chicken schnitzel in extra virgin olive oil. So yeah, basically like a chicken parm. is the example that we were giving. So yeah, not to say that it's a bad thing, right? I'm just gonna try to not steam you guys up too bad. Oof. There. I think we're okay. Okay, so first thing going into here is the butter. Really important. Is this like makes a barrier with the starch, I find. So that your mashed potatoes won't go gluey. So we just kind of gently like mix the cold or room temp butter in. We don't go crazy with the mashing process just yet. If we can always add more butter after this first set Greek, if I find that it's not gonna be enough. I think you're right. We're gonna need just a little bit more. Not like a ton more. But you can see how it's not getting gluey as we're stirring it. You're teasing? We might actually put more. That's the one thing with mashed potatoes, is they can't turn out dry. Oh, it looks pretty good. I like how fluffy it is. So now we already stirred up our sour cream earlier. And just put it back in the fridge. It's really thick. Like cheese almost. Honestly, like if I scrape off the spoon, that's probably good. Your mom keeps saying margarine is better, but you say butter is better than margarine. I mean, personal preference, I'll always choose butter. But like if you're vegan, I guess you can only really choose margarine. Yeah, if you wanted a very like smooth mash, you can pass this through a fine mesh sieve. But like I'm not gonna go through that process because I already kept the skin on. So that's not what we were going for from the beginning. But yeah, if you did want to make like a really like fancy sort of restaurant style, get a fine mesh strainer. That's pretty good looking. I don't think we need more sour cream. But all I'm gonna add before we like make this more smooth is just some seasoning. Margarine is heart smart, but butter tastes way better and not full of chemicals. I think I'd rather have the not chemical part. Right? I don't like to mash it too much at first when we haven't added everything into it. But now that this is the last stuff being added, I think we're good. I just did a little bit of black pepper. Now go down the side of the pot. It's getting so fluffy now. I guess you do like incorporate a little bit of air in when you mash it like this. There's my spoon I brought over. Look at that. We're still gonna taste it, but if we do have to add seasoning in, we can just stir it. We don't have to mash it anymore. Smooth. Smooth mashers. Like, I'm not saying that lumpy mashed potatoes are bad either. I think the most important thing with mashed potato is the flavor of it. And most of the time, I would say that people don't add enough butter to start, and that's when they get, like, kind of pasty and dry when you go to eat them. Like, you should be able to scoop this and have it come off the spoon like a really nice, like, mound on the plate, right? So, like, boom, slap it on there, and it looks really nice and smooth. Gonna check on those veggies next. We'll just pop a lid on here if we're happy. A little more salt. For sure. Oh yeah, a piping bag, like pipe it into the mound. Just did another like good pinch of the salt. And you'll know when you taste something, it will taste like bland right at the start. And then you'll see as you add more salt, it'll taste better and better. So definitely go by that. Only time you do mash a little bit dry is if gravy is involved. Yeah, definitely don't want like any runny mash at that point. But I think this will be perfect to eat with gravy. Mmm. That's so good. That's perfect. Salty, buttery, creamy. The Greek knows. Okay, so that'll sit really well for like half an hour on the stovetop while we finish everything else off. Mashed potatoes, yeah, they really are deceptively tricky to get right. Just use more butter. That's really all I can say from experience. Let's see what's going on here. Can you hear that? It's talking. It's talking to us. I don't think the carrots are done, but they might be. Oh, heck, they are actually cooked through. Well then, maybe we should just finish the venison and call it a day. I'm gonna get a spoon for serving this because I just want to mix the carrots up before we let them rest in the oven. And thanks, Isle Paint. Yeah, Samo picked up these trivets for me a couple years ago when they were on sale. I think they were half price. They're so dang handy to protect your counter and cutting board. So these are our maple and dill roasted carrots. I told you it would soak everything up, see? And then we just threw some broccoli in the pan because I had it in the fridge. Hi, Annie. Venison? No, Venesis. What? Okay, oven is off. You can just keep those warm in there. I think that's the thing, Black Wolf, is like if you've been cooking for a while, you're really good at making mashed potatoes. But yeah, most people don't use nearly enough butter. That's all it comes down to. Frank, scordalia, a Greek garlic potato dip. What do you eat that with? That sounds good. Annie, you just got back from robotics practice. Did it go good? It's so good to see you today. We've missed you. But there have been a good couple of puns today as well. We're really happy. Proud of the crew for keeping things going in your absence. please be tender? Guys, it's not even close to being tender. Or maybe it's just deceiving me. Wait. I just like pulled the meat apart with my finger though. But when we poke it, it doesn't feel tender. Huh. Maybe they shot an old buck, maybe. Hello, Killer Code Writer. You love the pan color? Thank you very much. I'm doing well. How are you today? A 6-hour stream, Greek? No. I think it's actually good. I don't know. Because, like, how could I pull it apart with my hand at that part, but then we go to, like, do the rest and it won't? I almost just want to, like, chop it up and put it back in the sauce. Just let it simmer for a few moments. Greek. Okay, what do I want to do? Because we also have to, like, strain the sauce. I'm composing myself. We'll take the venison out. We'll just put it on a plate. You're kind of hiccupy? You scared a few people today just with your hiccups, like you're saying? That's funny. Lately, I've been finding, like, if I laugh too hard, out of the blue, I'll get hiccups. And yeah, so the sauce... Here, maybe I can bring you guys a bit closer. So really simple sauce, what we made is we just seasoned the venison with salt and pepper and then seared it. And then while it was searing, we added some onion and garlic to the pan. And then once we poured the liquid in, we added rosemary, thyme, and bay leaf. And then the broth is just a mix of chicken beef stock. I got you hankering for a mushroom soup now. Are you gonna make it? The one that we made on stream yesterday turned out really good. Okay, so all of that's gonna go back into the pan. You just have to get a little pot to strain this into. You had one big hiccup. All of them came out at once. Okay, so carefully strain this. I'm just doing it in the sink, honestly. That's like the safest way to strain hot things, I always find. Because, like, what if something happens and it starts to pour, like, over the counter? You don't want to accidentally burn yourself. Gonna scrape the bottom of the pan clean, but look at how good that looks. Cleaned. See how this turned out. Really, really nice color. I just turned that back on to a medium heat so that we can thicken it. But while it's coming up to a simmer, I'm just gonna give that venison a little, like, chop-a-roo. A chunk up. we can get it like glazed up with this sauce, let's say. I'm okay if it turns out like a little bit chewy, but it definitely shouldn't be hard to eat, right? Annie, thank you for the 977 bits. You evened it up. 76,000 bitlies, aka 76% of the way through our goal. I appreciate you. So now if we can go by like how long this piece of venison has taken to cook, we can definitely say it was a piece that needed a long cook time, right? It wouldn't have been a piece of meat that we can just cook and eat like a steak. I'll show you it over here when I bring it, just to like show you the texture of how like close we are. Is like it's pretty much falling apart, but it doesn't have that fat that is like really gonna allow it to fall apart, let's say. Nothing like how like when you roast a piece of chuck beef or anything like that, or even pork, with how fatty it is. So that's why I thought it'd be smart to actually just like give that a little chop and get it completely coated. Feisty, thank you for the 100 bitlies, my friend. What are you insinuating, Kate? Thank you for that. And now I'm gonna taste the sauce actually before we thicken it. Like I might add a little bit of some beef base for some extra body. Oh, it didn't go off. That's true, Michael. Thank you very much for that. I'm sorry I missed it, too. It didn't, did it? Oh, yeah, it did. It was just all solo dolos. Okay, let's grab a spoon. Again. Turning this up a bit, too, because we needed a bit more simmering to thicken it. Good flavor. Just not as beefy as I like, so I'm gonna do what I said. You can use powder or liquid, bouillon, whatever you have. And like, I don't even have anything really fancy. They'll help add some extra flavor in, as well as salt, right? Because broths like this are always pretty salty. Just add a little bit at a time until you feel like you're happy with the flavoring with the meat. But yeah, it seems like now that we cut it up, it's like starting to fall apart more. You know what you found out today, Annie? Southeastern PA is the biggest mushroom producer in the US? That is interesting. Vegemite goes well in a stock. That is something that, like, in Canada, most of us don't have in our pantry. Whoa, just that little bit of broth that we added actually helps so much. So I'm gonna do the same amount. I think that'll be pretty perfect. And this is also the first time I've ever cooked venison like this, so this was a learning experience for me too. Okay, sauce is perfect. Do I use hoisin sauce much? Not too much. Like, I'll kind of interchange it, whether a recipe has like hoisin or oyster sauce in it. I'll only usually have one of those in the house at a time. So like right now I have oyster sauce. Okay. Come over here a sec. Just gonna get our slurry. So a little bit of cornstarch, just mixed with cold water or lukewarm water. I think I'll go like that. Don't want it to go too thick. Better than bouillon is for sure like the best one that you can buy. Out of all of the different broths and stuff that I've used, that is for sure the best one. A little bit expensive, but I honestly feel like it's worth it because all the ingredients in there are like real, right? You know all the ingredients on the list. And like for the beef one, I know the first ingredient is roasted beef. How could you beat that? It probably depends on the store, Greek, but I've seen Vegemite in a couple stores here. Okay, ready? So, kind of stir. I'm gonna maybe group most of the meat on this side so it's easier for us to stir the sauce. But we're just gonna stir as we slowly pour this in. I'm kind of watching the consistency as I pour it, because it gets thicker as it cooks. I think we'll finish this off. No lumps. Now you can mix the rest in. And look at how it's just like glazing the meat now. Done. We did it, chat. We made it. That was a little bit of a tough one today. A learning one for everyone. Yay! Smells great, Randy. Thanks. Hey, thanks, man. And Scaramouche, thank you for the 55. And Mish, the 1. Sometimes things are too shiny on stream that the camera goes out of focus, but this one seems to be okay. Okay, just gonna get my phone ready so that we can take a photo after we're plated. Annie, the war starts. Yeah, if it's too shiny, Greek, sometimes the camera just won't focus. It's happened on a few things that we've made that was like really glazed. It was hilarious. Annie, thank you for the 362 bits. Zoom it out, make room. It's plating time. Unfocus, not focus. I mean, English is still hard for me some days too. Don't worry too much about it. Yeah, don't stress yourself out. The carrots. The carrots. The carrots that everyone just goes nuts for. Okay, so starting with a scoop of mash right in the center of the plate. That's the greatest, Mish. Thank you very much. You forgot? 43 months in a row, baby. Thanks for being part of the kitchen crew. I'll show you like the texture. It's like I dolloped it on the plate. There's enough dairy that you can like smooth it out though. It doesn't really stick to the spoon. So we make a literal bed of mashed potatoes. Wayne, do you want any of this or you're good? And then, where's my spoon? Whoa! Annie with all the gifted subbies. We're just placing our carrots around the plate. Wherever they fall, let them. Did we get everyone? Okay, we're gonna focus in more on this now. Okay, who we got really quick, and thank you very much, Annie, for the 5 gifted subs to our community here on Twitch. 850 total over the years. We got Justin Blue, Drink More, Cook Less, Oiliana, Mary Todd 50, as well as Papier Cuts. I think we know all of those names. Nice, Oiliana's in here. Woohoo! The carrots look amazing and you missed that. It's actually like one of the easiest things we did today. Are you gonna get ready to write it down if I tell you? Black Wolster gifting the sub to Crimson Effer. I can never say that name on stream. It's not allowed. I want to show how it looks though when I'm like dropping the meaty bits onto here. I'm just making a pile in the center, by the way. This is where my mind went for plating this dish. What was that, Sam, and why? Sam likes to use the walkie-talkie on my watch to say things. But I didn't understand what he was saying this time. So now just take some of the gravy with your spoon. You can like go around the plate a bit. I'm gonna stop there. And then there's a couple just herbs that we're gonna use for garnish. Happy, thank you for the 300 bitlies, my friend. We are going to wipe this little sauce sploot as well. And then to finish off our sour cream, green onion, mashed potatoes. Well, obviously you need the green onion. I don't like to mix them in right when we do the mash though, because like the heat kind of affects the flavor, I find. So I like to sprinkle them on after, like fresh. And then you can mix them in. And then for the venison, and just to kind of bring everything together, is I have a really big thing of parsley to use up. But we don't want to cover all the venison so you can't really see it. That's why I just kind of do a little bit on top, and then you can go the rest around the sides. I would say that actually turned out very close to what I wanted it to be. I was planning on like pulling the meat apart, but I don't know honestly if there's enough fat in venison for it to even do that. I'm so happy with how this turned out though. Don't forget the broccoli. That's actually something we just meal prepped. Because we had room in our pan and extra broccoli in the fridge, so it wasn't actually supposed to be part of this dish today. But thank you for the reminder. I'm just gonna turn up the light because it's kind of dark. So like if you were to get this plate from a restaurant, eaten out, I would say probably like $40. Like starting at somewhere around $40 Canadian, just because it's a wild game meat. Thank you, Annie, for the 157 bitlies. And meat with the 1 every single time. Okay, where's my fork and knife? Let's try this out. I am so excited. Scoots, as someone that like eats venison a lot, do you think you're gonna make something like this for yourself? Like, I want to just try this by itself, right? Because this meat is special. Will it even focus? It's so dark. Deep, dark, and delicious. Mmm. Tender enough that you can bite through it, no problem. It's not chewy. I'm trying to like figure out if I would even know this was deer meat, and I don't think I would. It seriously just tastes like beef. You would never even know it's venison. Am I a chef? Yes, I am. Okay, now eat some of the potatoes. Oh yeah, I do have a story. I gotta change the time. Now it's at 12 years. Or more. Mmm. Okay, now you're gonna eat it with the potato, because the potato is like so good and rich. Look at that. Good food and good fortune, Minuteman says. I have my own show on Food Network. What's it called, boss man? I forget the name of it. Yay! Mmm. Deadly. Thank you, friends, for the hype train. 7 subbies, 973 bitlies. And I have all of the level 1 emotes, so thank you very much for that. Nine of 12 says, people think they don't like venison, and I wonder why someone did it, that they think that. That's often the case with, like, duck. I find as well. These carrots really turned out good. Not, like, mushy, but they still, like, kind of just melt in your mouth. Not too sweet from the maple. The show is called Canadian Cooking with Kate. I'm in. Black Wolf, sir, you're trying to push it to level 3? I appreciate you. Duck is very fatty and rich. Like, I often think people are served overcooked duck breast. So then it's dry. And then, like, they're not really served a properly cooked duck leg, which can really get, like, dried out, right? Like, you should always just cook duck breast like steak, and then confit the duck leg, and then I will make a stock from the carcass. I actually just bought a duck this week. They were on sale for $3.99 a pound. Speed, how are you doing? It's so good, dude. I am loving life right now. It's probably gonna be like 2 meals for me, or a meal and a half. It's seriously everything that I've been like craving recently though. Like when I have a hankering for something like this that's like cooked at a restaurant, I'll just make it myself. Yucko, you got a duck breast at a fancy spot and they didn't render out any of the fat on the skin? Yuck. Is Sam upset he didn't get to taste the venison? No, he's not upset. He told me actually to try it because they do still have so much to use that they said that they can bring us more next time. There's no shortage. You hold duck with Alton Brown's Mighty Duck method and your son wants it for his birthday every year. That is awesome, dude. Where's Samo? I just dropped him up at the airport for work on Thursday, but he might actually be coming home on Tuesday. Yeah, we sent him away. We sent him away. He was in a little bit earlier. He wasn't being good. Meesh. Oh yeah, the one stream where we were making eggs Benedict and the smoke detector was going off. Yeah, he's a backup at the mine. Water boy is what I call him. But yeah, there's a shortage of diesel fuel up there right now, so he might be home in a couple days. We'll see. Risky business. All right, friends, that's the stream. Crushed. And I even showed you guys how to render your own pork fat if you want. Okay, your carrot method and recipe. Now that we're at a good point. So I don't know if you saw like how I cut the carrots, but they were pretty like chunky, right? So start off with that for sure. And then all we did was olive oil, maple syrup, salt, pepper, and dill, whether it's dried or fresh. You just mix that together in a bowl, and we roasted it for 30 minutes at around like 420 degrees Fahrenheit. But my oven is pretty cold, so I always have to turn it up like 20 degrees warmer than it should be. That's delicious. Always better on the pocket if you're able to cook the same thing that's in a fine restaurant. Totally. Like everyone always like asks chefs, oh, like what's your favorite thing to eat? Most of the time it's something basic, like fast food that I don't want to cook at home, right? I don't want to take the time to cook the fast food at home, so you go out to eat that. But I will take the time to cook something really delicious for myself at home, because I know it's probably better than something at a restaurant. It turned out so good, Cookie, if you want like a big view of it. Like I said, I didn't plan on chopping up the venison, but it's actually quite nice to eat it all together like that. Pre-cut food, you can't really go wrong, right? It's efficient. Cookie, thank you for the 1,801 bits, setting us up to 79%. Weren't we just at like 76 at the beginning of stream? Oh yeah, and for the carrots, butter also works, Sam was saying. How much syrup and oil? So just enough oil to like coat your carrots. And depending on like how much you're making, let's say you're making like enough for 4 people, maple syrup, like maybe a couple tablespoons. Not much. It is so good if you use butter with this. It goes like more nutty and caramelizes with the maple syrup. And yeah, not covered. Not covered. If you're scared about burning, you can always start it at a little bit lower temperature, right? Go at like 375 Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. Because you can always like broil them if you want it a little bit more caramelized at the end. Rather than having like burnt carrots on the outside, but they're still crunchy in the middle. Because that could happen. The irony of a Canadian company running out of diesel. The irony of a remote mine running out of diesel as their sole fuel source. That's all I got. Okay, I'm just looking on Twitch who we're gonna go raid today. Yesterday we raided BB Bubs. Hope you guys had fun over there. He was making gummies, I think. Chaotic Good Mage is on. It sounds like he's making some fun things. Hottest Fire Nation foods from Avatar The Last Airbender. That does sound fun. Cooking Without Looking. You want to go see her? We haven't been there in like a hot minute. Okay. Just going to move this so I can get my keyboard. Turn off this fan, because by the end of the stream, I'm so sick of listening to it. $25 million gallons, but there's no way to get it without a road. I love it. Who was doing Fire Nation? Chaotic Good Mage. I'll write it in the chat. If you want to go see him. We've raided him before and really awesome community over there. Okay. Cooking Without Looking. I did it. It's set up. Dun 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 dun. Okay, it says the channel's intended for mature audiences, so just keep that in mind. Don't know what we're going into. But usually it's not that crazy on Twitch. I mean, yeah. Just keep that in mind. Anyways, though, guys. Yeah, Mish, you're not allowed to come through the raid. Thanks, though. Thank you for being here, my wonderful people. I hope that you had a wonderful Saturday. We inspired you, and I would say we learned a little bit together today. I learned how to cook venison a little bit better. And it's delicious, too. We'll say that. And yeah, all the recipes are in our Discord if you want to make them for yourself at a later time. Heck, maybe even tomorrow. It's Sunday, right? Gotta make something yummy on a Sunday. And so Lady Bonfire is saying, cooking without looking where we're going to raid. She is blind and she cooks, which I think is pretty heckin' cool. So that's where we're gonna be sent off to. Hang around if you want. I'm gonna be cleaning up and kind of in the background at that time. But we'll be back tomorrow. Cooking again. 11 a.m. Pacific is when we start. And we're making healthy shrimp salad rolls with a peanut sauce because I feel like something fresh after this very heavy dish today. All right, friends, this is about to cut me off. Love y'all. Stay safe out there and hopefully see you tomorrow. Bye!
Welcome, Raiders. How was your stream? What did you make today? Did you enjoy it? Hello? Thank you. Okay, that definitely is not done rising yet. Nowhere near done rising yet. So. At minimum, that's gonna take another half an hour. Minimum. How was your stream today, Kate? Hi. Oh, that's really, really sweet. What'd you make? Wonderful. I do too. Hello. Ooh, very nice. That sounds delicious. Kate has a lovely stream, guys. Wonderful, wonderful cooking streamer. Please, please go follow Cook with Kate. She is loved by many people here. We are making something that I do not know how to pronounce properly. It's an Italian dish.